I just was outside sitting down at the park, not a person in sight, and it is very warm here in Seattle. And as I was sitting there, I was thinking about my mom. I haven't seen my mom in, months, since February, which isn't too unusual because she lives in California. But I was just thinking about how I haven't done my favorite thing to work on with people. And what is that? And yes, I mentioned my mom because I'm very single. That was a very single. So I don't have anybody really to say this to in my life other than my family and not a partner. But I think it's super important. Ooh, there's a little sweat from being outside. But I just ran in here, I promise. Because I realized I hadn't given you the opportunity to practice saying, I love you. And to me, that's something that's very functional and just an appropriate thing to practice, because I'm sure you have a partner, a child, a mother or father just like me, or anybody. I love saying I love you to my nieces and nephews. I do it so much. We have a little game with it, and it's really important. I got a little bit of feedback on a video, and someone said they feel kind of awkward talking to me. Now, you shouldn't feel awkward saying I love you to me because I'm very lovable, but maybe you don't love me yet. I don't know. So, I mean, if you feel awkward, to be honest, I feel a little awkward too talking to my phone. Okay, so if I can talk to my phone with nobody on the other side, you can talk to the computer, right? I'm here, I promise. But you can also, get out the awkward shakes depending on what you do to diffuse your awkwardness. I prefer to be as awkward and weird as possible to get out my awkwardness. But let's get back to the important thing. Okay, if someone says, I love you, what do you say in response? I love you too. So let's practice that response, okay? I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, really. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
I love you too.
I don't know if you can tell that I'm touching you very lightly. I love you.
I love you too.
All right, did you get enough practice in on I love you too? Let's practice just saying I love you. And like I said, maybe you don't love me yet, but you will. Hit me with it.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
Oops, shouldn't hit my microphone. I love you too.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
I love you too. I'm laughing at how silly I feel. It's usually what the laughs are.
I love you.
I love you too. Now, if you're my dad, you might go, I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck. And sometimes music can help you bring up saying things with aphasia, right? I'm sure you've seen that. So we can do, I love you, a bushel and a peck. You don't have to do that part. That's just my dad. Do you want to try it again? I love you, a bushel and a peck. What do you think? Did that come out easier? I don't know. I love you, a bushel and a peck. Come on, Julie. Get it together. I love you, a bushel and a peck. Stop it. I love you, a bushel and a peck. Or we could even do that big dinosaur, whatever his name is. I love you. Wow, I think I just had a little drip of sweat. I love you. I love you. We don't really need to do you love me, because they can say it, right? Just imagine walking up to your partner, your child, or, if you can't walk, maybe just approaching them and saying, I love you. And then hopefully you can decrease that singing. So I don't know, which one do you like better? I love you, a bushel and a peck, or I love you, I love you. Whichever one works for you, you can try it that way. Go back, Try it again. Go back all the way to the beginning and just respond to me and then initiate it. And hopefully you love me by now. And if you love me enough, subscribe. There's a little picture that's going to pop up. Click on that and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to comment. Let me know how much you love me. A lot. My nephew and I always do the, I love you. And he goes, I love you too, Auntie Julie. I love you to infinity times infinity. He is, I think, 10 now. And it was cuter when he was younger. Well, I love you to infinity times infinity. See ya.